everyone, today in this Move and Be Still class, we're going to be talking about the spring season and what that means for us. In the spring, we see the flowers and the trees, everything in nature start to bloom and blossom. And so within ourselves, we can start to feel that invigorating energy as well. Today, you will need 2 blocks, and we'll get started. We're going to start with our blocks today in a supported fish pose. And this pose is really good for helping us to open the lungs. During the spring season, we can feel an excess of water retention in our bodies. And so helping us to open those lungs helps us to breathe a little easier when we may be feeling some allergies or symptoms of allergies. And so in your supported fish pose, you're going to take your 2 blocks and you can place one right underneath the base of your skull. And you can do that on the middle height or the highest height. And you can take this second block and you can place it either onto the middle height if this one is on the highest, or onto the lowest height if this one's on the middle. And this block is going to go right underneath your shoulder blades. And so take your time, set up your blocks, and start to lay down onto them. This should feel comfortable for you. If it is painful in any way, you can release the blocks and just lay flat onto the mat. Bringing your palms face up, arms are long to the sides as we close our eyes. And we're going to start our practice today with a visualization meditation. So in the space in between your eyebrows, start to imagine a flower. It can be any color, any shape, any size. Just noticing and creating this flower in your mind's eye. And as you envision all the little details of this flower, the shape of the petals, the long or short stem, does it have leaves or not? Does it have thorns or not? Start to bring your awareness to its roots. And these roots go deeply down into the earth. And we start to realize that the flower itself gets its nutrients from the soil, from the earth that it is planted in. And if you start to equate your mind to the soil, what is it that you need to feed your mind in order to feel nourished, in order to grow, in order to move forward towards your goals and your dreams? What is it that you can feed your mind in order for you to blossom? On your next exhale, you can start to release this visualization from your mind. And we'll start to gently blink the eyes open as we move off of our blocks. So you can sit straight up or you can roll off to the side, whatever is easier for you. I'm just going to bring these blocks up to the top of the mat. And we'll move into a tabletop position. From this tabletop, we're going to move through some cat-cows, starting to open the spine, lengthen the spine, moving at your own pace, inhaling as you move into your cow pose, tailbone and chest rise, and exhale as you round through. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round through. And just find a couple more rounds of breath here. Moving into your neutral spine, we're going to lengthen our right leg out to the side so that it's in line with our hip and our toes are pointed forwards. We're going to move into gate pose from here. So start to walk your hands towards the rest of your body, stacking your head on top of your hips, and then bringing your hips into a level alignment. So making that right hip come down just a little bit more to meet the left. Right hand can come above or below your knee as your left arm reaches up and over towards your right toes, lengthening through the side body. After a long winter where we can feel really heavy and stagnant, we're using this practice today to help us really open up through each and every part of the body. And as you exhale, you can release that left hand, come back to center. And we'll just walk our hands back underneath the shoulders, come back into your tabletop, and we'll just switch sides here. So your left leg is going to be long out to the side. Start to walk your hands towards your body as you lift the head to stack on top of the hips. Find alignment in those hips, and then the left hand comes above or below your kneecap as the right arm reaches over and towards the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder back behind the ear, helping us to gain as much space in the lungs as we can. And then release and come back into your tabletop position. Start to walk the hands slightly forward, create that angle in your arms, tuck the toes, lift the hips, come into your downward facing dog. Find what feels good for you here. We're going to be moving with a lot of invigorating, rejuvenating energy today within our practice. So as we look in between the hands, walk the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, release into your forward fold. And you can widen your stance a little bit here if you want. You can grab opposite elbows and gently sway. You can release your hands all the way down to the ground. Releasing the back of the neck. And coming fully into this forward fold. Forward folds help to stimulate the kidney and bladder meridians in the body. Again, helping to release that excess of fluid retention. And as we exhale, we're going to release the hands down towards the ground. And moving back into center, we're going to start to lift our arms up towards the left side, keeping your hands onto your elbows. Come up to center, bringing those arms up and overhead. And then release down towards the right side as we move back into our forward fold. So I'm going to face you so that you can see exactly what we're doing here. Start to bring the hands over towards the left, up through the left side, up and above the head. And then starting to release over towards the right side and come all the way back down into our fold. I'll do this one more time in this direction. And then we'll switch directions here. So coming up through the right side, arms come up and overhead, and release to the left side. Come into your fold. 2 more times here. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Good. And we'll release the hands back down towards the ground as you inhale, rolling up the spine. And bringing the arms up and overhead, palms touch. As we exhale, we'll come back down into our forward fold. Inhale, roll up the spine. Arms rise up and overhead, palms touch. Exhale, release back into your fold. One more time here. Inhale, roll up. Arms reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll bring the hands down to the sides, coming into our mountain pose. And we'll start our sun salutations. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into your plank. Lower all the way down onto the belly to start. Release the tops of the feet to the mat. As we inhale, come into your cobra. Elbows are tight to the sides. And exhale, release down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, and come into your downward facing dog. Look in between the hands, walk the feet back up. Inhale, lift halfway, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, hands to heart center. Come back into your mountain. Again, in this sun salutation, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. This time you can lower all the way down, or you can come onto your knees and go into half chaturanga, bringing your elbows in line with the shoulders. Inhale into your cobra, maybe lifting a little higher this time, and exhale, downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, walking the feet back up. Inhale, lift halfway, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, hands to heart center, come back into your mountain. One more time here. Inhale, breathe into the belly. As we exhale, release into your fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into your plank. You can lower all the way down onto your knees or come into full chaturanga by shifting forward onto the toes so the shoulders are slightly above the wrists, and then lowering down. Inhale into your cobra or your upward facing dog, lifting the knees off of the ground, and exhale, downward facing dog. Looking up, make your way back up. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, arms rise up, and exhale, hands to heart center, come back into your mountain. Just close your eyes, noticing the subtle sensations of the body, noticing how your breath has changed. We like to work a lot with the elements of air and fire in the spring season because we can feel a lot of earthiness and water within the body, so helping to balance that out. As we inhale, bringing the eyes back open, we're going to bring the big toes together to touch, heels are slightly apart. We're going to sit down into our chair pose, tops of the thighs roll into each other. Your heart is above your hips here, so if your hips are in the same line, bring them down a little bit more. And we'll twist open to the right. Right hand reaches back behind you, maybe looking back. And then come back to center. Exhale, twist open to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back into your plank. Move through your flow. Exhale, lowering either all the way down halfway or full chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring the foot in between the hands. We're going to spiral down that back heel and come up into our warrior one. Left hip pulls forward to meet the right. Reach that tailbone down towards the ground below you. And as you exhale, release the hands down. Step back and move through your flow. Coming back into your downward facing dog, left leg lifts this time, and foot comes in between the hands. Your back toes are at a 45-degree angle. They can even point a little more towards the front if that feels better for your knee. As we inhale, come back up into warrior one. And exhale, release the hands down, step back, move through your vinyasa. Coming back into your downward facing dog, take 3 rounds of breath here. Feel the heels root down towards the earth. Feel your fingers spread wide. And looking between the hands, walk the feet back up. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Big toes touch, heels are apart. We're going to sit back into our chair pose. And all the way up to standing, hands to heart center, and back into your strong, steady mountain. We'll move into our chair pose again here. So sitting down, hips are back, heart is forward. Twist open to the right. Come back to center. Twist open to the left. Back to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, move through your vinyasa. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Inhale, right leg lifts. Bring the foot in between the hands. Root down to rise up into your warrior one. And exhale, release the hands down. Step back, move through your flow. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, foot comes in between the hands. And move back up into our warrior one, strong and steady. And exhale, release the hands down. Step back, move through your flow. Each breath connected to each pose. And take 3 rounds of breath here in your down dog. Looking between the hands, walking back up. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Big toes touch, heels are apart. We're going to sit back into our chair and come all the way up. Hands to heart center and back into your mountain pose. Again, close your eyes. Feel your breath. If you're feeling short of breath, think about bringing that breath all the way down to the belly. Good. Leaving the eyes open, arms rise up and overhead. As we exhale, release into our fold. Inhale, lift halfway. We're going to take our left foot and bring it back behind us and sideways. Deep bend in the front knee, come up into your warrior two. So feeling those hips face the left side of your mat. Deep bend, that knee is stacked on top of your ankle in the front. Arms are out into your T shape. And the right palm flips up, left hand comes down, reverse through your warrior. Breathing into that side body. And then exhale, bring your right forearm on top of your right thigh, and left arm reaches up and forward, framing your ear. And you can stay right here, or if you want, you can play in a bind, bringing your left hand behind the back with your palm face out, and then your right hand is going to come underneath your right leg, and then maybe reaching and touching them together. And if they don't touch, that's okay. You can grab on to your clothes here. Pull your shoulder blades together so you feel the opening of your chest. And then come back up into your reverse warrior, but lengthen through your front legs. So you're coming to a reverse triangle this time. And then reach your right hand forward. We'll come into an extended triangle. Right hand come onto the inside or the outside of the ankle. Left arm reaches straight up. If you want, you can take your block and place your hand onto that block, helping you to gain a little more space on the right side of your body. Maybe looking up towards your left fingertips here, or looking down towards your right toes. Good, and we'll come back up. And from here, we're going to place our hands to heart center. We're going to bend in our left knee and come into Skadasana. So bending in that left knee, right toes point up towards the sky, and your hands can come down onto the ground to help you find some more balance here. Use your core strength to help you. And then we're going to release our hands down if they aren't already, and start to bring that left knee down towards the ground. Your left hand is going to come back towards your left toes, and you're going to start to lift your chest and your hips as you reach your right fingertips forward, coming into a different variation of wild thing here. Good. And we'll start to come back to center. We'll bring our hands into the center of the mat and start to tuck your left toes under, lift that left knee and come into a wide-legged forward fold. So you can keep your hands under your shoulders, or you can start to walk those hands towards your heels, bending in your elbows, and also walk those fingertips back. So find what feels good in your body today in your practice. And we'll start to lift back up, bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, and then your right toes are going to point towards the top of the mat. So you're going to walk your hands forward, come into your runner's lunge, and then release your hands down and pull back into your plank, move through your vinyasa flow. And looking in between the hands, walking the feet back up. Inhale, lift. On your exhale, you're just going to plant your hands back down and step the right foot back and move into your warrior two from here. And once you feel aligned and steady in this warrior two, we're going to flip our left palm up, bring your right hand down and reverse through. Feel that stretch from your left hip crease all the way up to your left fingertips. And then your right forearm is going to come on top of your left thigh. Right fingertips reach forward here, lengthening from that right hip crease to the right fingertips. And then maybe coming into your bind, right hand reaches back behind you, left hand reaches underneath of you, maybe grabbing them together and pulling the shoulders back and down and away from the ears. Good. And then from here, we're going to start to come back up into your reverse triangle. And then come into your extended triangle. Left hand reaches forward, and you can grab that block if you'd like. Find some space within those shoulders. Maybe looking up. And then from here, coming up, bring your hands to heart center, and we'll start to bend in the left knee as the left toes come up. Right knee as the left toes come up. And you can stay right here. You can also bring your hands down onto the ground if that works better for you. And we'll bring the hands down, start to bring the right knee down, and bring the right hand back behind us as we come into our wild thing variation, pointing your left toes forward instead of up. And then coming back to center with the hands, moving into your forward fold. Taking your time here, release the back of your neck, feel your breath within your body. And then starting to come back up to center, left toes point forward. Come into your runner's lunge, release the hands down, step back and move through your flow. And looking in between the hands, we're going to move into a playful movement here. You're going to bend in your knees and hop your feet up to the outsides of your hands, coming into Malasana Yogi Squat. Bringing your hands to heart center, elbows on the insides of the knees, gently open those knees up. And we're going to come back to this pose a couple different times. So we're not going to stay here long. Exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. We're going to come into our forward fold. And then inhale all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to move into eagle pose from here, Garudasana. So you're going to bring your right elbow and place it on top of your left to start. And then bring those palms in towards each other, internally rotating them and pressing them together. You can also bring your hands onto your shoulders if that feels better for you. Bend in your knees And then start to bring your left foot out like a kickstand on your bike. On your inhale, start to wrap that left foot around the right so that you can tuck those toes back behind the right leg, or just work towards that today. Sitting down a little deeper like you're sitting in your chair. Bringing your gaze towards your fingertips or any non-moving object. Take another round of breath here. And we're going to open up, unwrap the arms, bring that left knee into your chest, and then pull that left foot back, coming into a high lunge. On your exhale, open up into your T-shape with your arms, twisted a high lunge. And then your right hand is going to come onto your back leg, left arm reaches up and overhead. And as you exhale, left hand's going to come onto the inside of your right foot, right hand reaches straight up. And as you exhale, release the right hand down. Start to bring that right foot behind the left, or that left knee behind the right, and we'll start to come into our twist here. So your right hand's going to come back behind you, left arm's going to reach around the right leg. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, twist. We're doing a lot of twisting in this class. Twisting helps us to detoxify the body, release what we no longer need. And as you exhale, unwind, bring the hands down, and come back into your Malasana squat. And once you feel steady in your Malasana, we're going to bring our left hand down, right arm reaches straight up to the sky, maybe looking up. And as you exhale, release that hand down. Left arm reaches straight up here. And as we exhale, release the hand down, come into your forward fold. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to move into Gauradasana on the other side. So your left elbow is going to come on top of the right this time. And you're going to start to bend in the knees a little bit as your right leg comes out to the side. And then start to wrap that around the left. Down into your chair, pulling those hips back as you pull the heart forward. Bring your focus onto what do I need to nourish my mind and my body in order to bloom. I'm starting to release, unwind, bring the right knee into the chest. We're going to pull that leg back, come into your high lunge. Exhale, twist open to the left. Right arm comes up as the left hand comes back. And then we'll start to release that right hand down onto the inside of the left foot. Left arm reaches straight up here. And as we exhale, release that left hand down. Right knee comes behind the left. And we'll start to come into our twist on the other side here. Looking back behind you, helping to lengthen and strengthen the neck. And as you exhale, unwind, come back to center, and we'll start to make our way back into our Malasana squat. This time, your left hand can come to the center, right arm reaches up, and then we can come into a bind here. So right hand comes behind the back as your left arm reaches around the front of your left shin. Maybe bring those hands together. And as we exhale, release, unwind, other side. Left arm reaches straight up. Keep that left knee out and away from the inside of the body. And then your left hand's going to come around the back as your right arm reaches around the front. And unwinding, coming back to center. And we'll start to pull back and lay down onto our bellies. Coming into some back bending here. Bringing your ankles together and your hands down and long to the sides. As we exhale, pelvis down, inhale, start to lift up through your chin, your chest, your shoulders. Maybe start to lift the feet and the hands off of the ground here. And as we exhale, release down. You can bring one cheek to the mat, relax the muscles of the body. And then we'll start to bring our chin back to the center. And we're going to come into bow pose here. So you're going to bend in both knees. Bring your hands to either the outsides of the ankles or the tops of the feet. As you exhale, pelvis down. As you inhale, start to lift up through your chin, chest, shoulders, look forward, and then press your hands into your feet, feet into your hands. And you can stay right here, or you can start to plane your boat a little bit and start to roll over to the right side. Still keeping that bow shape in the body. And then making your way back to center. Come back up into the fullest expression. And on your exhale, start to roll over to the left side. Can't roll all the way here. Oh, there we go. And as you exhale, come back to center. Fullest expression. And exhale, release back down. You can do opposite cheek to the mat as you gently sway and windshield wiper the legs back and forth. And start to come back into your child's pose. Closing the eyes, coming into the here and now. If you've lost your focus, if you started to think about things outside of this practice, that's okay. Just bring awareness to it, and then bring your mind back into the present. And as you inhale, we'll start to lift the head off of the ground, and we're going to move into camel pose here. So you can take a block if you'd like and place it in between your thighs to help you feel that internal rotation and that gentle squeeze in between your legs. That's going to help you to protect your lower back. So you can keep your toes flat or you can tuck them here. Hands come onto the lower back like they're in your imaginary jean pockets. As you exhale, elbows come together, and then push your hips forward as far as you can reach them. And look up if that feels okay for you. And on your next inhale, we'll come back up to center. You can keep the block, or you can release it if you feel like you have that internal rotation down. Again, toes can be tucked or lay flat here. Hands come onto your lower back. Push the hips forward. Look up, and you can drop your head back a little more if you'd like. And you can start to walk your hands towards your heels. Now, if you do this, just make sure that you can push your hips forward as far as you can. Maybe start to let go a little more with the head. And on your next inhale, gently, slowly start to walk your hands up to your back a little bit more until they reach that imaginary jean pocket area again. And as you exhale, we'll come to sit into hero's pose, just giving ourselves a little bit of time to notice what we feel. And as you exhale, start to bring your feet out in front of you, moving into our seated forward fold. If you want to play a little bit in this pose too, you can take one of your blocks and place it at the soles of your feet. And you try to reach for that block as you fold. As you inhale, lift the arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, start to fold. Hands come to the outsides of the block or your feet, or maybe the fronts of your shins today. Whatever feels good for you. Inhale, heart to toes. Exhale, chin to shin. And really listening to your body and noticing what it's saying. If there is a little bit of pain somewhere, you can back off of the edge of this pose. Come into the version that is going to help you and help your body open up and release a little deeper into this moment, into this practice. And as you inhale, come back up to center, and we'll start to bring our feet up to the top of the mat. And you can do the same thing in your bridge pose as you did in your camel pose, where you took a block and placed it in between your thighs, because it's the same action here. Feeling that gentle squeeze and that tops of the thighs coming in towards each other. So releasing all the way down to your back. Start to walk your heels in towards your glutes and start to walk the shoulders gently underneath the back. And as you inhale, start to lift up through the hips and heart center. You can also interlace the fingers underneath the back here as you lengthen through the back of the neck. Toes are pointed forward. So just notice if you feel that in your body, if your toes are pointed out to the side or in a little bit, start to point them forward a little more. And releasing your hands if they're bound. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, start to release all the way down the back. And we'll gently windshield wiper the legs here. And we'll keep the left knee bent. We're going to lengthen the right leg up to the sky. And you can gently massage the back of your thigh here. Just give yourself a little bit of self-care. And then start to bring that knee into your chest as you lengthen through the left leg. This is called Apanasana pose. Just like twisting, this is really good for our digestive system. And as you exhale, we'll start to bring that right knee to the outside of your left hip. Right arm comes out to the side. Maybe your left arm comes out to the side as well, or you keep it onto the outside of your right leg. Head can be straight or look towards your right fingertips here. Taking this time to just notice where the breath is moving in your body. If there's any spaces that feel tight or feel like they're holding, you can imagine your breath moving down into those spaces, filling them up. And as you exhale, releasing, softening, letting go. As you inhale, we'll come back up to center, bending in both knees again. And we'll start to lengthen that left heel up to the sky. Maybe massaging the back of your left leg here as well. And then bring the knee into your chest as you lengthen the right leg forwards. Coming back into our Apanasana pose. And as you exhale, left knee comes to the outside of the right hip here. Find your variation. Releasing and softening a little more with every exhale. And as you inhale, come back to center, bringing both knees into the chest this time as we hug our bodies and thank you for bringing us through our practice today. And as you exhale, gently releasing into your Shavasana, taking your time. You can come back into your supported fish pose if you'd like. Or you can just lay flat onto the mat, closing the eyes. Feeling our bodies relax down a little closer to the mat. Allowing it to hold us here as we absorb all the benefits of this beautiful practice. On your next inhale, starting to deepen your breath, moving through your fingers and your toes. If you'd like, bringing your ankles together, arms reach up and overhead, and come into a full body stretch. And as you exhale, bending in the knees, rolling over to one side. And coming up into a comfortable seated position. Your eyes closed and your hands at heart center. Spring is a beautiful season that is full of renewal and growth. And we can see that in nature all around us, and we can feel that within ourselves. So aligning ourselves with nature, with these new beginnings that are opening up to us, we can take this time to really see what is important to us and start to take action towards it, helping ourselves to bloom. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Namaste.